Good evening, my people. This is one angry black Republican, episode 8. The struggle is real. Episode 8. The struggle is real. Okay, so we all know that we live in a class-based society. Now, how anyone chooses to, label said classes, ultimately, there's someone on the bottom and there's someone on the top. And then there's a whole lot of people in the middle. Okay? Now, if we look at, just white America, and we look at that tier system in white America, someone being on the top, a whole lot of people being in the middle, and someone being at the bottom, they still, all of those three class groups would still be proportionately higher in each class than that of black people. So it's not, it wouldn't be far-fetched to, deduce that, the people at the bottom of, the white group would still be close to, in some cases, above or under our middle group. So let's now, so a quick example of that would be during, let's say slavery, the most successful blacks in that slave system wouldn't be above any whites in that time period. Okay, and that relationship has never changed. Slight variations here and there, but for the most part, there's a class or a group of blacks that are always and almost generationally at the very bottom. At the very bottom. And blacks in higher classes the black elite, the bourgeoisie, the well-off, the learned, the people that relish in their achievements, accomplishments within America. Class that wealthy. We heard a lot of talk in the past, couple of months coming from, this high class of black, people. We're talking about generational wealth. That's the big buzzword, for that group of blacks, who have amassed, resources. And you see that playing out now. Those blacks who have amassed resources, they have equity in the system. I'm hearing individuals in that class, even in this moment, talking about investing money in stocks. The American economy is collapsing right before our eyes, and we have well-off blacks talking about investing in the stock market. I've literally heard it's time to get money up together and start investing in airline stocks because they're gonna go back up. They're gonna go back up. How do you know that? Or is it just an intense optimism? Or is it the comfortable, relaxing pontifications that take place at your dinner table? And you can hear it in this big trend now of online DJs. DJ D Nice, what I'm saying? DJ Lil Man. Doing these live sessions, where and I can see it, partying in this moment of uncertainty, because there's it's almost a similarity in terms of interest, that seems to dominate those higher classes amongst us. Okay. I saw a post of a brother talking about boosting credit, and that's that is like so unreal to me at this point. That this we actually for a long time we really invested a lot of our attention, our vote, on this kind of thing, on these individuals with this kind of thinking. Not having the either understanding to have empathy or be able to have empathy, to, those closer to the bottom who don't have the same access, to resources that, many of those quote unquote skilled, workers who can work from home, they don't have, that, they don't have that access. And, we got a type of society where, people can be so, people can blind themselves, out of sight, out of mind. So it's easy for, a group of senators and congressmen, to, play political football, with people, struggling at the bottom, or attempting to, hold on, for dear life to a system that they are also equally addicted to. Because we're all addicted to the American framework, the American, system. Especially those who had those higher classes. I mean, literally, you would have had to be saving up for months to be prepared for a moment like this. Now at the very beginning of, my transition to, aligning myself, to the Republican Party via Brexit, New Jersey, I was very vocal, concerning, the depth, the reality of our condition in this country. I was very critical of capitalism, very critical of, the bourgeoisie, the exploitation of the bourgeoisie. It's exploitation when, you drive your car up to, at a gas station, you drive your Benz up to a gas station, and the pump, the attendant, pumps your gas and then grabs the, squeegee and washes your window, for you. I've seen hundreds of brothers not even flinch or blink, to take a coin out or a buck out and put it in that man's hands who went that extra mile for you. A lot of people that are holding on to those, levels of, that bourgeois existence, they're the most, quote unquote, frugal people on the planet. And that frugality comes with, denial or the ignoring of the impoverished. But all around us, there's an impoverished person, that we tend to overlook. Okay? I remember the first Occupy the Block event. And I made it my business, to show up at that block event. I was teaching over at Link Community Charter School at the time. I just left, the Greater Newark Charter School that was crushed by the Newark public schools and the state, for political reasons. Because you get these warring families, these warring political families going at each other. Any institution that either creates is subject to attack, when power changes hands. So I made it my business to get over to that event. And, it was interesting. It was, there were a lot of police officers almost zoning off the area, blockades, around, I think it was on Chadwick, Clinton and Chadwick, that whole area. I saw all of the dignitaries as one of the last, moments I saw the mayor, had the opportunity to say what's up. I kind of fall back from, energy that is uninviting, which like I said, I don't understand that. I know, and when I see one of my mans, I could feel energy that's positive. But I guess I mistook that moment. But nonetheless, I'm standing there. There's brothers playing chess. I think that's the last time I saw the deputy mayor. They all playing chess and got tables all out. A couple of stores up the street blasting music. merriment, DJ out. So I see this homeless brother everybody see this brother. There's some staples in the city, and this brother, for years, you see this brother standing on, right on the corner, always, same condition, hand out, right in the middle of the street. I've seen this brother for years throughout, that area. same condition. You know, I actually, he was dancing in the street at this particular moment, and I filmed him. You know, and he put up, he put up $5. He said, $5, give me $5. And I'm like, all right, go ahead. I'm filming him dancing. And, he stopped dancing. I walked over, he walked over. I gave him, I think I gave him $10. Because of the, I had the footage. And, I held on to that. Because, that brother represents, like the bottom of the barrel, the lumpen proletariat. And, one of the things I love about, Huey's perspective or his analysis, when he talked about the lumpen proletariat, he talked about the value of the lumpen proletariat. And he talked about the value of all, people in the lumpen proletariat. A group that is often marginalized and, dismissed. And we all are guilty of that. And anytime you walk past a homeless person and they had a cup out in the middle of the street, and you thought it not robbery, to, grab a couple of coins and, toss it in, you're not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the American that, totally, you roll your window up, as opposed to, taking it, and you could have a mountain of coins right there. There's always some excuse that kind of accompanies that, level of dismissiveness, to the people at the bottom of the barrel, society's barrel. But again, no one in America could have anticipated this happening. Just 3 weeks ago, or just weeks ago, we were in the heat of an impeachment process. Working class Americans, we don't have, the kind of, time, to give attention, to every issue that is going on in a society. And everything that's going on in a working class person's head. Many of us are on a regimen or a routine. We're creatures of habit. We get up in the morning, we groom ourselves, we, make sure, we're scented well, and then we, throw on our outfit for the day and we out. And our minds are focused on the business of the day, making the bag, getting the coin, whatever you call it. And all day, we out, pushing, moving, earning, participating in our families, and we're home, and we're trying to de-zone, debrief, and take that massive edge off that accumulated all day, and then we catching up on the business of the day, whatever interests us. For months, it was impeachment. Gotta impeach Donald Trump. And that mantra has been yelled for 3 years. So the country was focused, especially if you're, into politics. For some of us, it's all politics. For some of us. And for me, that's only, within the last few years, since, pulling my head out of the sand of, American urban education and the hypocrisy that runs those systems. So no one could have anticipated in that moment where, we're all headstrong on impeachment and then acquittal. I mean, literally, for days after the acquittal, I kept seeing one image in my head, Donald Trump, that first, speech after the acquittal, and he's standing there, and watching how he sank his teeth into that moment. He put the newspaper up and said, Trump acquitted. The Teflon Don. I felt like I was looking at John Gotti. Acquitted. And that's when, the first brick of reason, mounted. We're such an arrogant people. You can predict, based off of the social situation and the historical record. We make predictions as to what, what shifts are going to take place. And imagine watching yourself analyze shift after shift after shift and watching those shifts come to fruition. Like literally. I remember the 100 reasons black people should vote for Ben Carson. 100 reasons why black people should vote for Ben Carson. In anticipation of Donald Trump. Because ultimately, I was attempting to argue that, in order to block Trump from the Republican nomination, black people had to organize a collective vote and support a candidate. And it made sense to support Ben Carson, especially off an 8-year run of Barack Obama. No matter what you say, we love Barack Obama. And if you are black and you're saying that you do not love Barack Obama, then you're lying to yourself. And yes, there was a massive white backlash because of Obama. Yes. We saw the rise of the Tea Party because of Obama. And those people organized. They got together and they said, you know what? It woke up a sleeping giant. That's what they did. It woke up a sleeping giant. And those people massively organized and put, skyrocketed Donald Trump directly to the presidency. Okay? And then there was the whole cry of, we're gonna impeach Donald Trump. Impeach Donald Trump. He's gonna get impeached. And then everybody put all of their chips on Donald Trump getting impeached, and then acquittal. So we're constantly making these fumbles, and then we get right. We pick the ball back up. We realign ourselves. And then we, make another collective decision, and totally ignore, the reason of those of us who, were accurate in those moments. We keep with the insanity. So our minds are, buried in this democratic push, to unseat this president. Coronavirus slipped right underneath us. It slipped right underneath us. And to come to find out that it had been, it had started already, months ago. This was discovered in December. When the first cases were, and apparently, the cover-up that took place. Yes, many of us are reliant on the media. We are. And to try to, dismiss people now, who happen to be, very, reliant on media is egregious. Like I said, we're working class Americans. Many working class Americans aren't, we don't have the ability or the range to, the skill, to do, to work positions from home. I'm talking about your waiter who has a dream. She wants to be an actress. Or the waitress wants to be who is aspiring to be an actress. Who's renting out a 3-bedroom, massive rent apartment in New York. And busting tables all day and relying on tips. Who now has no job to attend. Has no job. Nothing saved up. Or the single mom who, has to work the laundromat. For nickels. Or the cab driver, whose business is greatly reduced. There are people who are home under force, being muscled emotionally. Oh, you're affecting my health if you're outside. Go in the house, stay in the house. You just sat there and, ate breakfast. Had the kids, everybody around the table eating breakfast because you're prepared. Because of the work you put in America. You got into a place of security and comfort. It's easy to, make those demands from that, that perch, that high horse. Easy to forget how real the struggle is for some. In those comfortable ways, that many of you dismiss. Any rebut to your, position or your thinking. Well, they should have they should have worked harder. So again, we're in a moment where, an unprecedented action happens. There's always going to be an intense struggle that takes place at the bottom. The struggle is real. More real at the bottom. Because not only do they have to worry about the reality that many of them will never be tested for coronavirus, number one. Many of them will never be tested. And if we honestly believe in a racist society, and yes, the society is pervasively racist. In that type of society, if the majority of the poor proportionately are at the bottom, are black, then you have to start to understand, if you don't, that there's a whole host of conditions that come with being in that position at the bottom. And don't get me wrong, it is amazing and extraordinary. The lemonade that many people who struggle make out of those lemons you toss. I've seen some of the most extraordinary feats in the hood, so to speak. Where people take, damn near nothing and they work it. And they maneuver and they, dodge and hustle and this. And there's a whole lot of different things that individuals do to stay afloat or have done. This is a whole nother moment, according to all of you the masters of the universe who make all of the decisions on our behalf, but who forget in many cases how real the struggle is. And it is real. And just because I'm aligning myself with the Republican Party, doesn't mean I'm naive to the ignorance of a lot of Republicans. Because there's a whole lot of Republicans that are ignorant, as to, the struggle of, blacks at the bottom. Many of these whites don't know or can empathize with, the struggle of blacks at the bottom. There's some of some of their ideas or reasoning is the worst. And I gotta laugh at it all. Why? I've heard whites say, well, why are you so race conscious? Why are you so race conscious? I don't ever see race. I gotta laugh at shit like that. I don't ever see race. Like, well, lucky you. Lucky you don't ever see race. There's a tremendous amount of whites who got out of their way, to marginalize or belittle blacks. You ever drive down the highway and get one of them zealot, souped up white boys on, Red Bull and heavy metal? And some damn pickup truck. Speed limit says 65. And you're driving at 80. Behind some black man driving. Cops spot black people by instinct, just like black people spot them. Racism. Conditioned racism. And black people do too. Black cops. And so don't tell me just because the cop is black, he ain't white. We can feel a humanistic cop. Notice I just said humanistic. I didn't say black or white, because there are whites who are humanistic. There are. I had some great, and I'm gonna be very ignorant here by saying this. I had some great white friends in high school, because I literally did. I literally did. So, yes, there's a lot of ignorance in, the Republican Party, and they need to be checked on that too. Some white boy who think it's okay, to disrespect a black woman. So no, I check all of that ignorance. Because just because I'm aligning myself with the Republicans doesn't mean I'm some blind, fool who just, is pulling my lever for anyone. No. No. That's not it at all. If anyone who thinks that, they're just ignorant. That's not it at all. It is the party that we've invested so much of our, so much of our lives in, that has broken our hearts. And they're doing it now. There are individuals in that group at the bottom who need assistance now. They need it now. And they're stepping up. And they're doing the job. They're doing what's asked. And they're fighting to do it. Newark Day 2 was peaceful. It rained. So what? It was still peaceful. And they're doing it. Parents are doing it. And they're figuring out new routines. They're trying to figure out how to, manage a high-strung child, who wears his emotions all on his sleeve. Ready to just bang, mom and dad into a emotional pulp because they're angry. And they don't know how to regulate and be respectful and responsible in this moment. Hearing parents talk about, I finally got through to unemployment today. Didn't get through in 2 days, and thank God I got through because, the systems are crashing because of, overuse or such a massive rush on the system. Down to their last couple of dollars. They out there. They out there and they're not expendable. They're not expendable. But we treat them like they're expendable. We're never going to have a system where, the compromises are fair for everyone. We're never going to have that. Because if we thought about or tried to do things, based on fair, if you're one of the Americans who are able to access and get a test for coronavirus, then maybe, the check should go to someone who can't get a test and who still has to struggle and starve. But nonetheless, you should represent a certain, those in the lower classes. Yes. There are going to be, businesses that needed to be bailed out. Because you know what? Maybe if those businesses do get the bailout money, and they have really strong connections with their workers. I met a sister who works at a pizza parlor in New York. And she's been working at this pizza parlor for like 5 years. It's a family-run business. And she said it's the best job in her life. And this woman has 2 degrees. White woman, 2 degrees. And working at this place faithfully. Everyone in the country isn't, wrapped up in money and consumed by money. We're not. People are more important to us than money. Relationships are more important to us than money. Doing the right thing by people is more important to us than money. So yes, so what? One party, has an idea, that if we pump money into these corporations or these companies, maybe they will begin, to invest in individuals. So what? That's the party in power right now. So what? So what? Right now, we have to do something to stop the bleeding. Right now, we have to do something to stop the bleeding. And we're all watching. It was the Democrats' responsibility to sign that bill. President Trump signed that bill on Sunday or Saturday. That bill should have been passed already so that relief checks can go out. And then once those relief checks were secured, to tell a starving family, you're going to have to wait a little longer because we want to make sure. No, that's not acceptable. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. This isn't a time for a partisan divide. The crisis is unprecedented. And we're still trying to figure out what actually happened. Every day the country is getting sicker and sicker. And we're paying attention. Police officers aren't patrolling like they normally do. They're not pulling over people, usually it's their second nature to pull some damn body over. Or somebody black over. They can't wait to get to work. They can't wait to get to work. Get their uniform on, they feel all proud. Get in that car, and they go assaulting Americans. I'm sorry to say that. And they're not, like physically. Well, they're assaulting our, anytime a cop, sits by a trap. I remember in Weekway Park. Every time I went to Weekway Park, I would drive up just to park and watch those cops sitting over there hiding. Waiting for somebody, that's coming to the park. 9 times out of 10, they go run or do something. Just an American buying their business. Pulls past that sign, the cop immediately pulls them over. They should be ashamed of themselves. As a matter of fact, if an American, and I'm gonna throw this little caveat in there right now while I'm here on it. If an American has license, registration, and insurance, and it is all in order, when that person is pulled over for an offense and they have their license, registration, and insurance, they should literally be given a warning and let go. All right, listen, buddy, everything checks out, but you're gonna have to stop, speeding, because I did put a warning in the computer, so if we catch you again, man, then we're gonna know. Like there has to be a more humanistic system. There has to be a more humanistic system. You see someone making a left turn and they didn't see the left-hand sign, and you pull them over and they say that, and you see that their license, registration, and everything's in order. Let them go. Always got somebody at the top, is a little bit more cruel than the person on the bottom. So the captain, who could tell his officers, to be more humanistic and, don't give out tickets like that. No, he's pressuring them because he's being pressured by, some other prick above him who's even more meaner. So the meaner you are, the easier it is to get to the top. Well, thank you. There goes Don. There goes America. There goes Trump. The shrewdest, motherfucker gets, to get to the top. Because they don't have no problem suppressing people at the bottom or underneath them. But that's what's happening right now with the most vulnerable during this crisis that we may not recover from. Let's just be real clear. We may not recover from this moment. We could have seen the best of our America, or the best of this country. We may not get back from this. Now, I keep going back to that quote from Shaka Zulu, strike an enemy once and for all. Well, this could be the once and for all. Because I know if I was China and, we're mounting for war, and I'm watching the European, the Western world locking down their systems and shutting down their economies, what better time to hit or strike? When people are sick, cops are sicker, military is sicker. And America's economy is shut down. That means money isn't regulating too swiftly. So maybe that's why we don't see the presence of the National Guard yet. two battleships, one on the coast of, on the coast of, what is it, LA, and the other one on the coast of New York. Locking down the nation. What if we are at war already? And we don't know about it, because we never know about anything. We just have to, follow what people at the top are saying. But then when you're constantly hearing about people at the top who have been using their position and their power and their title to lace their own selves, oh my God, we should stone those people. I'm sorry. How you're on an intelligence committee and you hear, the intensity of what this virus is about to do, and you start dumping all your stocks. How corrupt is that? Or you're some police captain and for years you've been locking up black people on purpose. Oh my God, how egregious is that? The Democrats should have signed that bill. The Democrats should have passed that bill. Don't give me no excuses. The only excuses I'm going to hear are from people who are comfortable. They're all the same. You're comfortable. You got some of these Negroes talking about donuts. Oh yeah, I came along a whole feed. These are brothers in leadership. They know what's going on. They know the intensity of this. They know the Democrats are shitty. And I saw, a post where all these brothers used to talk about it. Democrat, and Joe Biden, and then to hear these same people, talking about how, Joe Biden is a dumbass. Not worth, no marbles left. This is a Democrat saying this about their own. Where do you think they're going next? Republican Party, that's where they're going next. So think about it. We got this critical moment in our society, an unprecedented moment. Unprecedented. Let me say that again. We don't know if we're going to recover from this. The country's falling. The economy's falling. Every day counts. And that bill could have been passed Sunday. Checks could have been going out as early as today. Man, I want to see that mom, who has 3 children, small children. And those babies are, going crazy in that house. Because she's at her last dime. Those babies got to eat tomorrow. She done exhausted everything. Each of us helping can only give but so much. And I don't get a good feeling when I, give little. It wouldn't have mattered. Because the pain of having to experience that with them, like so many, on these communities have to deal with. We struggle differently. There's levels to this. So yes, it burns my spirit when, knowing that regardless of how it, came out, we could have dealt with a lot of the people struggling, with the passage, of that relief package that could have taken care of so many of the issues that are out here. Stop the bleeding just a little bit. Let's just wait out that next, week according to, the initial projections. Because if we blunted this curve, like all of the voices are saying that is necessary, then yes, those, checks would have helped. Yes, they would have. Because now people, have some hardcore cash in their hands to now make some decisions. Okay, babies, I'm glad we got the money in the bank now. Let's go down to, the grocery store, and, parents can now start to be more strategic and plan better, because they're not sitting there being caught off guard like most of them were. Like I said, you would have had to been saving up for 6 months to be prepared for this, something like this. We got to stop being so hard, thinking that philosophy is better, because then all of you are wrong. Because so many believe that philosophy is better. Oh, just be honest to a person, and I know there's cruelty that comes with certain classes and certain certain people. How beautiful would that be, to see some arrogant prick struggling now, who was who just constantly gloated. Aren't you tired of bragging? Aren't you tired of the braggart? Aren't you tired of the braggart? Always want to flaunt your success as someone. And you know what you're doing. You're just sadistic. You're just sadistic. And you've lost that loving feeling. You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips. I mean, you never close your eyes anymore. And a lot of, so many of us in America, have that bitter arrogance. And it puts us in this place where, we lack humanism and we lack empathy. All these food banks sitting around here. All these inactive churches. Where's all the food delivery now? There's always some church or some community group lined up. Think about all those. Penn Station used to always have someone handing out food and giving out things to the homeless. Well, this is the time for that now. If you have it, you should be sharing. No, that wasn't a coronavirus cough. If you have it, you should be sharing. This ain't the time to, blind yourself to the world or the people around you. While you listening to DJ Lil Man, be on your Cash App. Those families that are struggling. The families that are, going to have difficulty coping with this. Teachers, your families. Your families. We know are out here struggling. And we know that voice is going to be fierce. And the more you make people wait, maybe that's what you, maybe that's the point, Democrats. Maybe you want to see the first, riots begin. Because it just takes one person to knock down one of them doors, to one of them stores, or pull one of them gates off. Or to start, stealing. So that's where it's going. While you people, sit back and, slowly make up, slowly continue to infight. Because that's what you always do. Always the people that with the highest stake in the system, constantly fighting with each other for more. Sacrificing, those who are struggling the most, sacrificing those at the bottom the most, who struggle the most. We know this system isn't fair. Never was. And we never thought that. We never believed it would ever get fair. We always get the short end of the stick. But that's just the thing. We always got the short end. Right now, you're not even trying to give us the short end. Now, if this has to drag out to next week or Friday, like they're saying, especially in the week that's supposed to be the worst, moving forward, things are changing right before our eyes, and we have got to be preparing on multiple levels. But at this point, first steps, a package is on the table. A package is on the table. Let's get her done. Don't sue me for that, Larry, the cable guy. Let's get her done. Get it done. No more holdups. From this, put a moratorium on differences, between Republicans and Democrats in terms of policy. Because, it's like at this point, we're watching, a classic rerun playing out. The swamp, so to speak. So, I urge you, Democrats, please stop playing politics at this point. Please stop. There's a package on the table. Democrats do the same thing. Y'all got, when you get in power, you maneuver things to benefit you. You're not in power right now. So the package that was presented, if the Republicans are in agreement, sign it and let's get it moving. Because only that right now will seriously speak to this moment, letting us know, for real, because some of us still don't believe that, this is real. Some of us still believe it's a hoax. So it is time to understand that the struggle is real. This is one angry black Republican, giving all you the urgent message. We got to get to the people at the bottom fast. Let's do that. Let's get it done. Newark, A+ today. And one angry black Republican is out. See you next time.